Coming.
An African safari trip is a wonderful thing. To be up close and personal with all kind of wild animals is a delight, and it reconnects us with nature. But getting that close to a wild animal can obviously backfire. This video proves exactly that. These are 20 times African safari trips went horribly wrong. Number 20. Angry giraffe charges at truck. Now, we may not think of the giraffe as being especially aggressive, but that does not mean that being chased by one is any kind of laughing matter. These wild animals are massive, and they can deliver a kick that could kill you completely dead in just one blow. And so, this carload of visitors to the Masai Mara Game Reserve in Kenya might want to change their amused laughter to saying their prayers. This furious giraffe has a point to make, and it is mad as hell. Chasing a car through the reserve, the animal can easily outrun a tiny little Jeep, and it does. Once the giraffe gets in front of the car, the situation then becomes blood-chillingly clear to the passengers. This giraffe is quite cross and enormous, and they are trapped. It's not exactly ideal, but how does it turn out? Well, nobody knows. Perhaps this is just found footage. Now it's time for the sweet topic. When a group of tourists went on an African safari trip, they assumed the driver knew what he was doing and would ensure that they only drove through safe territory. In such a situation, you'd have no choice but to believe the same. They're experts after all, but sadly the driver on this occasion made a significant error. In fact, he made two. Not only did he get far too close to wild lions, but he also let one of the women in the car get out to get a closer look. Naturally, it backfired and the lion attacked her. It could have gotten more serious, but thankfully, a nearby member of the local tribe raced out from the bushes to help. Well versed in how to handle wild animals, he was able to deter the lion with ease and save the woman's life. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below using the hashtag #SweetTopic. Number 19. Rhino bull charges at cars. If you were a rhino, you may feel nervous around humans. It's not as if people are exactly unthreatening to the species. The few rhinos that are left in the wild are still at great risk of poaching. Their horns have been long considered valuable, even though their horn is made of the very same stuff as our fingernails. Nothing else. And the disgusting illegal trade in rhino horns has resulted in these animals being hunted to the verge of extinction. So, it's no small wonder that these rhinos, as they appear to be protecting a young calf, charge at the vehicles. People are a threat, and they may well have encountered poachers at some point in their lives, so they know the real danger that people can represent. However, rhinos are also ready to fight back and protect themselves. These animals typically weigh around 1,760 to over 3,000 pounds, but there have been some as big as 6,385 pounds, and you wouldn't want one of these chaps stepping on your toes. Equipped with two horns and an extremely strong and powerful frame, the rhino's strength lies in its ability to charge at potential aggressors and then overpower them with brute force. Unfortunately, the poacher still seems to have the upper hand, despite the rhino's apparent strengths, and these beautiful creatures are running out of time. Number 18. Elephants chase tourists. Seeing elephants in their natural habitat is a huge thrill for anybody. This group of German tourists were so super excited when a family group of elephants crossed the road in front of them as they drove through Kruger National Park in South Africa. It was a magical moment. Then, closer to their vehicle, they spotted two male elephants who had split off from the group and appeared to be acting in an aggressive way towards each other. Now, the people in the car are fairly sure that they're about to witness the bull elephants get into a fight.
Coming.
But suddenly, one of the elephants seems to spot the vehicle and takes umbrage with it. Before they realize what's happening, the huge 5-ton creature is right beside the car and almost immediately has prodded at the rear window with a tusk. The force and strength of a cross elephant's tusk is more than enough to cause a whole lot of damage to whatever might find itself in the way. In this case, the window shattered, but the tourists were very lucky to come away from the incident unharmed, even commenting that they had lost the deposit on their hired car. Does insurance even cover the act of an elephant? Number 17. Cheetah jumps into safari car. In a genuine squeaky bum moment, this safari tourist got slightly closer to the wildlife than was promised in the holiday brochures. While spending spring break in Africa on safari, photographer Peter Heiston captured some extraordinary images when the tour group he was leading had a close encounter with some cheetahs in Tanzania's Serengeti. The tour had stopped for lunch near a group of cheetahs, and as they were watching the animals, they realized that some of them were becoming quite interested in the vehicles, moving together directly towards the tourists. One of the cheetahs jumped onto the hood of a vehicle, which the guides assured the group was quite common, as the big cats are looking for higher ground, so they can survey the area that's around them. What happened next was unusual, though. Another cheetah suddenly leapt through a window and into the back of the car. With his heart no doubt in his mouth, tourist Britton Hayes managed to stay still and keep calm while he had his picture taken with a very close-up cheetah. Well, those were definitely some exciting holiday snaps to take home and show to his mom. Number 16. Hippo attack in Botswana. This bit of footage was captured by an American couple who were taking a safari in Botswana in 2023. They were out in a truck on the Okavango Delta when they happened upon a hippo. Now, if you ever meet a hippo, the best thing to do is avoid that creature. They are not as friendly as they look. But this group of tourists decided to stop and take a bunch of snaps, and that could have ended up really badly. They initially thought that the animal was just doing a false charge, kind of like a threat but a bit half-arsed, except that this hippo wasn't even pretending and wound up chasing the vehicle and biting the passenger door, stopping the people from beating a hasty retreat. And once a hippo bites onto something, they're not letting go all that easily. They were lucky and it did finally release them, but it had rendered that door and the window inoperable and added some substantial damage to the bodywork of the Jeep. But here's some good news: hippos can't swim. These hefty mammals hang around in water like all the time, but they can't actually swim at all. They're really heavy, and their hugely muscular bodies actually sink in the water, but they use this sinking to their advantage and can kind of run under the water by pushing off the bottom and propelling themselves forward using their immense strength. Even though it can't swim as such, the hippopotamus can move through the water at terrifying speeds. So, if you're ever out hippo hunting and happen to catch the attention of a particularly grumpy hippo, you might want to speed your boat up a bit and just make a sharp exit. These animals don't mess around, and they're notoriously dangerous. The last thing that you want is an angry hippo catching up to you. Number 15. Tiger attacks tour bus. Next up, we have some janky-looking footage of a bus on a safari somewhere unknown. It's spooky. Anyways, this tour bus appears to be a kind of cage in which the visitors sit and are transported through the very up-close and personal experience of meeting the animals that live in the safari park, or whatever sort of facility this may be. There may be a little confusion, however, because it seems that these tigers may vet the people on the bus as an exhibit. And frankly, given the fact that people are in a cage and the tigers are the ones stalking around outside and pressing their faces up against the wires to get a better look, well, that could be the case. Let's just hope that the distinctly clanky-looking old bus doesn't break down, or it looks as if these curious tigers might be able to figure out how to break into that cage. Number 14. Lion opens a car door. Lions are pretty smart animals, that's clear enough, but did you know that these guys have figured out how to open car doors? It's kind of worrying for all of you safari fans, I'm sure. This inquisitive lioness seems to be very interested in this particular car as a row of traffic waits in Kruger National Park in South Africa. She's looking very intently at the car door, and it turns out that she's just figuring out if she can open it. No biggie. I mean, from the inside, the safety of a car, most people feel fairly confident that lions and other massive predators that they might encounter in Kruger Park are not an immediate danger to them. But I wonder just how many people are driving around with their car doors unlocked. I guess that all those tasty-looking humans driving through the park might just look like easy prey if only the lions could figure out how to get those wrappers off. Well, that's just what some of them are learning how to do. Yikes! It kind of makes sense if you think about it though. Lions in a safari park are constantly observing human behavior and picking up a few ideas along the way, so it just makes you wonder what else they may be learning. Number 13. Buffalo crashes into vehicle. Having a lion sink its teeth into your rump is an extremely discombobulating experience. This buffalo was in the midst of fighting for its life when a bunch of bloodthirsty tourists on a safari rocked up in their jeeps and thought that they had gotten the chance of a lifetime to video a massacre in action. Ha! Great, because that's what we all dream of. This buffalo frantically attempts to escape the stalking pride of lions that are working together to isolate and bring it down. But this beast is not giving up without a fight. It tries everything from spinning round and round to running back and forth, and eventually, as it is panicking and trying to shake the predator off its back, the buffalo slams into the side of the safari jeep. The impact is enough to knock the lion from its back, and the buffalo makes a run for it. Unfortunately, the lions all follow in hot pursuit, and we don't see whether or not the buffalo managed to tire those big cats out enough in order to get away. Seems unlikely to be honest, but it was a valiant effort nonetheless. Number 12. Lion jumps into truck. Are you beginning to get the feeling that open jeeps are perhaps not the most sensible option when it comes to transportation in and around a bunch of extremely dangerous wild predators? Well, here we are again with a massive lion just jumping into a vehicle that's full of people. Who would have ever expected such a thing like that to happen? This group of students were out snapping pictures of the wildlife in, you guessed it, the Kruger National Park in South Africa, when all of a sudden a large white lion leaps into the jeep. Now, before you worry that there'll be a mauling, this did end perfectly peaceful. The tour guide urges the students to relax, saying that this lion was raised by humans and simply sees all cars as toys. Well, although it's not entirely reassuring that a big cat thinks of humans as playmates and has not even a healthy dose of caution in their company, at least no one was hurt in this occasion. Although relaxing enough to take a selfie with the lion, like one guy seems to be doing, that might just be ever so slightly reckless, but who could possibly say? Number 11. Giraffe smashes car window. One of the first rules of a safari park is to keep your windows up. You know, so the massive animals don't stick their heads in your car or eat you or whatever. I mean, it's not rocket science, people, but perhaps it is too much for some people's particularly smooth brains. This video captures the moment that an especially dopey woman does an especially dopey thing at the West Midlands Safari Park in the United Kingdom. The giraffe pokes a curious head into the open window to reach for some food, and the woman in the car evidently fails to engage her brain and begins to close the window. Now, if you close a car window on a giraffe's head, what do you really think is going to happen? Well, you might not anticipate the glass would shatter all over the place. This is a surprising outcome, but the other option is that the giraffe's head just gets stuck in the window. Neither are exactly all that great, least of all for the poor giraffe. Having its head all squished and then glass smashed all over the place is not really a great outcome, however you may look at it. Honestly, some people. Number 10. Nosy camel. While visiting a safari park in Alexandria, Louisiana, this guy got a little bit more intimate with the wildlife than he'd ever expected, and with hysterical results. The friends are traveling through the safari park in their car when they reach the camel area. The camels know exactly what a car with open windows means: food. And they aren't messing about either. AJ and Callie are laughing hysterically as they drive through the enthusiastic camels area. The camels stick their heads through the car window to get at the cups of food that they have in, and they poke in their inquisitive noggins right into the car, sending AJ into a total freakout as he scrambles to get away by jumping into the back seat. Callie just continues to laugh her head off all through the event, and the camels keep pursuing their car through the safari park, and the hilarity just goes on and on. Oh, these crazy kids. Number 9. Gorilla attacks woman on honeymoon. Why was this woman honeymooning with a gorilla? That's the real question here, surely. Well, boringly, it turns out that she had not actually married the gorilla. Rather, he was the entertainment on her honeymoon safari, and I must have gotten all my ideas of honeymoons confused, I think. But I guess this is how we do them these days. As you watch the massive and apparently disgruntled silverback gorilla pounding on his chest, you probably get the feeling that something is going to go wrong here. When a male gorilla does this, it's usually a sign that they are angry about something. They're generally giving several warnings before they actually engage in anything directly aggressive. And although he does get a little bit shirty about things, it could have been much, much worse. All limbs remained attached, and the honeymooning woman was pushed over by a huge gorilla. I mean, how many people can make that claim? There's a story for the grandchildren, you know. Oh, and the whole of the internet as well, naturally. Number 8. Leopard encounter. All the way back in 2018, when people were just going on vacation all willy-nilly, this tourist took a trip to Botswana for a spot of safari excitement, and that is precisely what he had. This is a close encounter with a young leopard in northern Botswana, in Okavango Delta. The safari vehicle had stopped to peer at a young leopard that was resting after catching an impala and enjoying a bit of dinner. Then, the leopard was clearly a bit less stuffed full than anticipated, as it got up and came over to investigate the Jeep along with all of its contents. Although the leopard might look a bit like a big pussy cat, it is actually a dangerous apex predator that could take you down with one swipe of a paw. So this casual guy just hanging out while leopard paws at him is probably just a tiny bit of daredevil, and perhaps slightly dramatic to boot. I mean, he did call the tabloids to share the story of how he was scratched by a leopard. The poor chap. Number 7. Lion bites tire. If you're a lion, well, you can pretty much lay down wherever you damn well please. I mean, who's going to argue with you? Kruger National Park in South Africa is home to a lot of lions. They are one of the reasons that so many people visit that park every year, just hoping to catch a glimpse of these beautiful animals. So to encounter a whole pride of lions just lounging about on the asphalt, that's a treat that no visitor would care about having a traffic jam in order to witness. It looks like these lions were just warming themselves in the afternoon sun, enjoying a bit of a cat nap, when all of the vehicles began turning up to have a look. And the pride then began to shift around a bit, perhaps slightly irritated with having their snooze interrupted. They slowly began to get up and saunter off, quite at their own pace though. Nobody tells them what to do. They're not called the kings of the jungle for nothing, you know. And amongst the lazing lions, there was a curious lioness. She's feeling a bit nosy and decides to investigate one of the stopped vehicles, and she pokes about the front, sniffs around a wheel, and then seems to decide to taste a tire, as you would if you were a curious beast. Only the combination of the air-filled rubber and the super sharp incisors ends up being a bad match, and the tire suddenly bursts and sends the lion scampering away. Curiosity did not kill the cat on this occasion, but it certainly did startle it. Number 6. Monkeys damage car. Now there's one thing that is all but certain if you visit the monkeys at a safari park. If you linger around, well, then that's a surefire way to have some car parts rearranged. And that is exactly what happened to this vehicle when this dad drove it into the baboons area at Knowsley Safari Park in the UK. These bad monkeys set to work about twiddling the windscreen wipers, a classically easy thing for a monkey to vandalize, and a time-honored tradition amongst their kind in safari parks all over the world. These baboons really did a number on the guy's car, fiddling with the wipers, gnawing on the wing mirrors, and generally causing the driver all kinds of sweaty and slightly shouty moments. I mean, have you ever encountered any monkey business on your own adventures in the world? Go ahead and share it with the class down below. Number 5. Angry buffalo. Is this big buffalo approaching the safari vehicle out of curiosity, or is it perhaps a bit peeved about something? Well, it is starting to look as if it's kind of mad. Perhaps you shouldn't hang around. Oh, there you go. Top tip: if a buffalo seems to be angry with you and decides that it really doesn't like your vehicle, it's really best to beat a hasty retreat, because these animals are seriously powerful. The African buffalo is a heavyweight in the animal kingdom, weighing in at up to 1,840 pounds, and with a tendency to hang around in a massive herd, these beasts are powerful by their sheer size and numbers alone. The main thing with an African buffalo is that these animals are generally considered prey by a whole bunch of predators, as well as trophy hunters of the human variety. Being under attack from every conceivable angle can make you just a teeny bit paranoid, and these buffalo are a nervous sort of creature. Combine those nerves with a temperamental personality and some of the bulkiest bodies out there, and then you have the perfect combination for one dangerous beast. Oh, and they do have massive horns to poke you with as well. With the ability to run at 37 miles per hour, buffaloes have a few powerful defensive weapons up their sleeves. In a herd between 50 and 500, these animals are a stampeding powerhouse. A gang of these guys thundering in your direction is a terrifying event on an epic scale, and they can even take out a pride of lions if they catch them unaware. Individually though, the buffalo does still have huge bulky mass, surprisingly fast running speed, and horns that are built for impaling, along with a tendency to be unpredictable. Those big game hunters that go out in search of buffalo can sometimes get their asses handed to them, and not always in the metaphorical sense either. Ouch! Number 4. Baboon attack. The area of Cape Point in South Africa is home to some huge numbers of baboons. These animals are a frequent sight in this region of the country and can often be found doing random vehicle inspections alongside the road. I mean, seriously, these monkeys get the most of their food from encounters with humans on the road. They've learned to search vehicles with extraordinary efficiency, and if they do spot a vehicle slowing down, they'll be on top of it within a matter of moments, performing a search as extensive as border guards with a cocaine tip-off. These baboons do mean business, and they will not take no for an answer. It appears that the baboons are not only after the cars though, they're also fairly aggressively chasing down the people who have ventured, perhaps somewhat foolishly, outside of their vehicles. Although the footage captured does show the animals lining the roadside as if waiting for a Disneyland parade, it's still a menacing sight, which if you squint a little bit, feels just like the Planet of the Apes. Number 3. Tiger chase. These people narrowly avoided a big catastrophe when out for a casual drive by the forest in India. Good grief, this is a heart-stoppingly anxious few seconds of film. You can only imagine how it must feel to be pursued by a tiger. These people actually know how it feels. To begin with, the tiger seems to be ending its own business as it skulks around in the long grass. This is a good opportunity to see how well its camouflage actually works in this natural habitat. It can be difficult to spot exactly where the big cat goes, but after a bit the tiger appears to take umbrage with the loitering Jeep and its nosy Parker people, and it comes rather too close for comfort. The tiger didn't appreciate the noise and disruption in its personal space and performed what appears to be a mock charge in order to suggest to the people that it was probably time that they left. Tigers can run up to 40 miles per hour, which is as fast as this Jeep could go on its dirt track. So there is really no doubt that the tiger was just showing that it could have gotten them if it had really wanted to. Number 2. Angry hippo attacks. These big beasts are really aggressive, but they mostly use their jaws to eat plants, up to 80 pounds of grass per day. Hippos are generally herbivores, although they do sometimes eat a dead animal, including the occasional hippo. Yikes! A grumpy hippo will show its displeasure by opening its mouth really wide in a super threatening manner, or by charging toward the source of its irritation. Either way, they may look cute, but keep a safe distance, because these creatures can be fatally bad-tempered. Apart from the hippo's mighty jaw, their immense weight is another source of their power. A charging hippo is a scary sight to behold, and they can, and do, frequently squash living things to death, even if by accident. And even though that looks like a grin, These guys are not as friendly as they may seem. Interactions with humans can be fatal. Hippo attacks kill as many as 500 people a year, and these animals are fiercely territorial. They will defend their space with the use of deadly force without a second thought. And so, this group of people who were traveling along a road when a hippo took umbrage with their vehicle were well right to be alarmed. They were stopped in Vellwater to watch the hippo from what they thought was a safe distance. That hippo didn't enjoy being peeped at and was quick to let them know. The people were lucky to be able to beat a hasty retreat in their car, and the hippo was apparently tranquilized and then relocated, which seems a tad bit unfair, to be honest. Number 1. Monkey business. Well, if you let a monkey into your car, you can expect to have some sort of monkey business to ensue. It seems that this guy allowed a monkey to get into his car and then rummage about through his backpack. The monkey appears to find something that it likes and then it scampers off. The guy begins hollering that the monkey had stolen his egg. Now, what kind of egg could be that precious that the guy needs to chase a monkey down like that? I can only assume it was a priceless Fabergé egg, because any other kind just seems to be a little bit pointless. The monkey naturally outsmarts the guy and not only gets away with its prize, but then heads off up a tree to gloat about it. It's just standard monkey business in the end. Well, that's all from the dangerous and quite unpredictable world of the safari trips. Have you ever been on a safari? I never have. Tell me how it was. Did the monkeys steal your wing mirrors? Go ahead and share all of your stories in the comment section down below. You should also be sure to check out the other cool stuff that's showing up on the screen, and I will see you next time.